always the French judge. Welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. We are back, baby. After the hiatus following the postseason run, we're back each week, each Thursday, 4 o'clock here on 1010XL AM with Jaguars Happy Hour. And we are at the Hyundai Studios, the Miller Electric Center. Test drive a new Hyundai today, only at your local Hyundai dealer. Here's what's coming up on the show today. A franchise tag window is open, but will the Jaguars use it? We'll get into that. Scouting Combine is next week in Indianapolis. A little different feel for the Jaguars this year. They won't have leadership there. We'll get into that coming up a little bit. Free agency beginning March 11th. We'll go through some of the players that are pending free agents for the Jaguars. JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman out this week. He'll be back with us on a regular basis. Kainani Stevens steps in.
Pinch hitting today.
Now, you know what? And it's... If we're ranking pinch hitters, you're right there at the top.
Oh, thank you. So, I'm the first
you're a
of
starter.
the extras.
You're a starter, okay? I mean, let's begin with that.
I'm like a role player. I'm like LaQuinn Allen coming into pass block and scream at everybody. I feel like I have a very specific team role.
You have some aggression, so you're saying?
I mean, I play the role I have to play. So,
yeah,
yes.
Do what you got to do.
Very exciting.
How was the break? Well, you guys had Jags AM this week on Tuesday,
We were back
right?
on Tuesday, but yeah, so we've all been off for about a month-ish, which I think sometimes is nice to just have a little calm down. But now that it's off-season full swing again, is going to be we're right back in things. It's a little bit different this year, obviously. We don't have coaching changes for the first time in a while. So for most of the years I've been here, we've had either new coordinators or a coaching search, obviously head coach and everything else last year. So it's the first time it's been calm for a couple weeks, so it's been nice. Yeah,
no coaching changes. The coordinators didn't get the head coaching gigs they were interviewing for. The quarterback is not a question mark anymore. There's no first-round draft pick. I mean, there's a lot of weird, kind of different unique,
for Jags fans,
unique
for
Jaguar things this offseason.
Yeah, and it's nice to see other people, all the coaching. There's 10 other new head coaches across the NFL right now and a bajillion different coordinators. So for the Jaguars, not only to have the same head coach and bring back both coordinators, that's pretty great.
Well, I mean, it has been because of that, the season the Jaguars had 13-4, and of course going to the playoffs. They had some accolades and near wins in the postseason, end of season award ceremonies, NFL honors. I mean, Liam Cohen was like 3 votes away from Coach of the Year in the NFL this year.
Coach of the Year was one of those things where you look at the candidates and almost anybody that won was going to be qualified in some way because every single, I think most of them were either their first year or maybe second year with their team. And, what Vrabel was able to do, you look at Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, their first years with their new teams, to make such big switches. And not that I felt like ownership of teams were ever very patient, but now seeing all this success in the first year for some of these head coaches, I feel like a lot of the coaching changes we saw this year, they're saying, hey, I want that, and I want it in 1 year. So we'll see how it all plays out, but I'm certainly feel like everybody in Jacksonville feels very fortunate that we have Liam Cohen. He's obviously our Coach of the Year. But yeah, I mean, and it's supposed to be a regular season award too, so you don't really know if, obviously the Patriots make a playoff run. You feel like maybe that has a little something to do with it, but it's supposed to be a regular season award. I felt like anybody that won it was going to be well worth.
And the voting ends the day after the regular season, though. So in theory, the playoff run shouldn't have anything to do with it. So,
right.
But I like the fact that, you know what, people's eyes are going to open to what Liam Cohen and this Jaguars team is all about, because it does feel like it's sustainable for the future moving ahead. It was kind of fun, and everybody's on vacation, right? So kind of away from it, but occasionally a day or two you'd kind of watch it during the week leading up to the Super Bowl, Radio Row stuff, and all of a sudden on that Thursday, there goes Liam Cohen on Radio Row, and he's on the McAfee show, and he's doing all these things, and that's fun to see when the league's starting to realize what's going on here.
Yeah, I think the last, 2 months when they got 8 wins in a row to kind of cap off the regular season, it felt like it was becoming a little more national. You get the big win over the Broncos, and it felt like, not many people saw it because it wasn't on national TV per se. But, kind of getting that recognition, getting a big win, and the way they finished the season, I felt like was a testament to all of that coming together at the right time. And I felt like they're getting more recognition as things went along. And Trevor Lawrence, too, just the way he played the last two months or so of the season. Just seeing his, like, he was in the MVP running, but I felt like a lot of it was how he was playing down the stretch. And sometimes it's hard to kind of get over the hump when it's not a full season that people have been talking about you. So that can be tough. But just the way he was trending, you have to be happy and excited to see what the future is going to be.
I mean, he finished 5th in MVP voting. I don't know if a Jaguars finished that high before.
Yeah. And I mean, this was halfway through the season, and we were like, the offense doesn't even work right?
That's right. They can't line up right. I mean, what are you kidding me? They couldn't get
goodness, I know.
Illegal shifts all over the place.
That was problematic. It feels like a lifetime ago.
It really does.
It feels like it almost feels like there was 2 separate seasons, like
bye week
and post Texans game even. Like, just, it was night and day.
That 16 was a big reason why. And they made it. They had a couple of changes. Obviously, Travis Hunter's injury, unfortunate as it was, brought in an addition at wide receiver that calmed some things down. And from that point forward, the offense looked a whole lot different. And then the defense made some changes after the fact as well, and really started to find traction after the break.
It's something that you feel good about going into the offseason, where feeling like you're going to bring back the same coaching staff that, in my opinion, overachieved in what you expected your first year. I don't think any of us expected, a record like that in your first season, first coaching staff, first year with this coaching staff, to come in, win the division 13-4, higher than I thought, at least. I think we talked maybe 10 wins would be nice, something like that. So to get 13-4 and do what they did, that to me exceeded my expectations. And then to now bring everybody back, get a little more comfortable this second year. It's not somewhere new trying to figure out where the bathroom is, how to get to the kitchen and the gym and all this. They know where everything is. They're settled, and to kind of really get into the meat of it. And also, this is their first full off season together, right? Because they were still, just getting a coach around this time last year, still trying to figure out who their GM was going to be. So this will be their first full year together. Yeah,
looking forward to seeing what they do with all the business ahead on 1010XL. AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, back from the hiatus. JP Shadrick, Kainani Stevens, glad you're with us. And the business of the offseason is underway. The franchise tag window is open. It is open through March 3rd if you want to franchise or transition tag a player. I've got a feeling that's probably not going to happen around here. Free agency begins when the league year opens on March 11th at 4 o'clock Eastern time. And there's a 2-day window leading into that for negotiation period. And, of course, at 4 o'clock, I believe it's a Wednesday, March 11th is when the league year begins. And that's really kind of been one of the big topics this offseason for Jaguars folks, is who will be back. Most notable names, Travis Etienne Jr., the running back, and linebacker Devin Lloyd are on that list of players that are pending free agents. And, it doesn't feel like at this moment that they could get away with both of them not coming back and finding a role for. And they're both really good players. Obviously, fantastic seasons a year ago for Devin Lloyd on defense, the numbers he put up. But if you're going to re-sign a guy like that is ascending, in theory, the number's going to be pretty high. Like the franchise tag for linebacker is like $24 million.
That's not even an option. Like, you can't tag him. No. That's not something you can do.
And for a running back, it's $14 million.
Right. And I mean, sometimes people use that as a way to negotiate and kind of use that to get a maybe longer term deal. I know Jaguars don't use it always, but I think the last couple times I can remember it was Josh Hines-Allen, right? And then Evan Ingram, I think they did before they had that deal extended with him. So that's how some franchises use it. Some people don't really utilize it that much. Obviously, we don't know what James Gladstone's going to do. Nothing's been done yet. Yeah. But I think it's tough because those are, two positions where running back's kind of tricky. It's not necessarily a position anybody's going to give a ton of money to in free agency. But when you look at what Travis Etienne's contributed to this offense, when we were talking about it not playing that well in the earlier part of the season, Travis Etienne was the only thing that was working at that point in the offense. And also just, I think, the smarts that he has and the way he picked up Liam's system, not everybody can do that. And I think that would be, I guess, if there's a plan, I would understand moving on from Travis Etienne. I can understand where that might be something they would do. I don't know what that plan is going to be, but I think he definitely will leave a hole in the offense that they're going to need to address.
Yeah. I mean, the the plan would be draft one, right? That's the cheaper option.
But they don't have a lot of top picks.
Because
So
if you're going to go get a free agent running back, well, you got one right here that's leaving the building.
sure. But
A retread of sorts.
But if the draft capital is lower in lower rounds this year, right? We don't have a first round
That's
draft pick. So where are you going to draft? What round are you going to draft one? They drafted a couple last year, but then you're drafting to a point where, and maybe this is how Liam Cohen wants to operate. He wants to have a couple running backs. He doesn't want to just have one guy. So maybe that's how they're going to operate. They've got LaQuinn Allen, who's a great pass blocker. They've got Bashal Tutin, who they feel like in short distances and in certain situations, he's really effective. So maybe they'll find one other guy that they feel has really great vision or is able to bounce outside and kind of make the corner. And then they'll have 3 different guys that all serve a different purpose. But I don't know what their focus is going to be. Obviously, they like to kind of keep it close to the vest
sure.
and then surprise us with that kind of stuff. So I'm a big Travis Etienne fan, so I would love to see him back. But I don't know if we are going to get much insight into that until closer to free agency.
He's one of my favorite players to go talk to during open locker room.
Absolutely. And you'll always get an honest answer out of him, too.
100%. And that if he's not back around, that part of him and what he means in that locker room overall, not just when media's in there, certainly, that will be missed. Devin Lloyd, another one of those guys that is fantastic to be around, had an incredible breakout season statistically. And if he's not back, there's going to be a lot of head scratching from some Jags fans about it. But I think this is the one where the true business of the game is going to get this one. He's going to have to move on, I think.
I think he had such a tremendous season that will work against the Jaguars' negotiations with him because someone is going to give him a lot of money, rightfully so, based off last season, what they saw from him, what they think maybe his future will be. And far be it for me that's fully a business decision. He should go wherever he wants to be and gets the most money. And I think there's going to be a lot of people up after him for that because I don't think there's a ton of his skill set necessarily in the free agency market. And I think he will definitely, it might be similar to something we saw like with Calvin Ridley when he ended up going to the Titans and you saw the money that was attached to that. You can't be mad at someone for taking that.
I'm not going to pay him that.
Exactly.
So
I think when we hear the final number for Devin Lloyd, I think we'll all be like, oh yeah, okay, I get it.
I mean, the guy had 5 picks. I mean, he's a second-team All-Pro this year.
Crazy.
7. I mean, he was all over the field. All these, tackles
forcing
for loss,
fumbles.
That's
It was
the breakout play in the Monday night game.
Right, and that's where people remember you when you have those primetime moments. Like that's going to sear in somebody's mind. And there's a lot of new coaching staffs as well that are trying to build a roster and maybe looking at somebody like that and saying, hey, I can build around that kind of athleticism that he showcases. And when put in the right position, he can be super disruptive in a game. So I can see outside sources definitely wanting to have that on their team.
A bunch of other guys are pending free agents, including De'Ami Brown. That was a 1-year deal, and, of course, second half of the season really wasn't out there on offense a lot. Emmanuel Ogbah, same thing. Statistically, just didn't have a lot going on. Andrew Wingard, safety's been around for 7 years, and that'll be one. He's a fan favorite.
He is.
Something to watch.
We have to remember and remind ourselves that this regime – these are not necessarily players from their regime, right? So they're going to want to get their players in, and they made some splashes in free agency, and they had their first draft class, but they're going to continue that process. And I think on defense, we're going to see a lot of changes and just getting in different kinds of, whether it's through the draft or maybe some lesser names in free agency that I don't think it's going to be huge splashes, but to address different parts of, and the secondary just got so banged up last year. I think a lot of it is going to be Caleb Ransaw we never even got to see, right? So
yeah, sure.
And Travis Hunter, obviously, who's going to be working his way back in. So a lot of the secondary, I think, will look different.
Greg Newsome's on the list as a pending free agent. They traded a couple of picks to get him as a kind of a test run towards the end of the season. I don't know if that necessarily worked out. Tim Patrick, veteran wide receiver. Austin Johnson, defensive lineman. You can never have enough big guys, but he's in 10 years in to the league. Dennis Gardeck, a guy who's a special teams ace and then contributed second half of the season on defense and the pass rush, and they worked him out in a lot of different spots, and he's got that mentality you just kind of want around. And he's overcome so much in his career. How much does he have left in his tank is a big question, too.
Yeah, I think if the number's right, Gardeck's someone they definitely want to bring back.
Yeah.
We talk about special teams, but also just the energy and kind of the way they used him as an extra pass rush and certain points and different ways that Camp was using him on the defensive side of the football. So I think that's someone, if the number's right, they'll try to bring back. Is Monteric Brown a free agent?
Yes.
I would like to see him back if the number is right for that as well. I just feel like Monteric's one of those people that you have to be relentless as a corner, and he's maybe not the biggest guy, and maybe he gets beat on one play, but it never ends, and he'll also come out of nowhere and bat a ball down that you're like, oh, I thought he got beat on that. So just relentless in that sense, and the wide receivers will tell you he's one of the hardest guys to go up against in practice. So if you can get Monteric back at a good number, I think that would be great. But otherwise, I do want to see some of the younger guys. I want to see Ransell out there. I want to see Travis Hunter full time out there when he's healthy. Those are what I'm looking for on defense in terms of the secondary.
Speaking of Travis Hunter,
yes,
we'll return and dig into what could be some of the future plans for the corner/receiver.
Breaking news.
Is it breaking?
I think we might have known a while ago, but apparently it's new news.
We'll get into that when we come back on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. We're off and running. Back at it on Jaguars Happy Hour.
Before you kick off your next yard project, make sure you've got the right play call. I'm Josh Scobie, and I know a thing or two about game plan. Sunshine 811 is a free service that marks underground utility lines before you dig. Skip the call, and you could get hit with injuries, expensive repairs, fines, or even knockout service for your neighbors. Don't take that risk. Make the smart call, 811, before you dig. Learn more at peoplesgas.com/811.
Jacksonville's own Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jaguars, just scored big, winning 2025 National Builder of the Year. And right now, Dreamfinders is running its best game plan yet, offering winning interest rate incentives and move-in ready homes available today. With 20-plus communities right here in Jacksonville and over 40 across Florida, from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa, Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to be. Visit dreamfindershomes.com and move into your dream home today.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The top-ranked rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report. Our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
It's game on, Jaguars fans, no matter where you might be. From the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. So as long as you've got a TV and a signal, you don't have to miss another game. Just one more reason why Ford F-Series has been the best-selling truck in America 48 straight years and counting. Ford, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today.
At GEHA, they stand behind their members because they were founded by members. So with zero shareholders to mind, GEHA keeps their members in mind by offering a health plan for every stage of life, plus hearing and fitness discounts. At GEHA, one thing is clear. Your health isn't their business, it's their purpose. That's why GEHA has been trusted by millions of federal employees and retirees across the country since 1937. Visit GEHA.com to find your federal health plan.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast Forward Together. To learn more, visit Jaguars.com/forward together.
Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour, our first show back after the offseason hiatus. JP Shadrick, Kainani Stevens, Jeff Lageman will be with us as the weeks move ahead in this offseason. If you're ready for another historic season at the bank, it's time to lock in your seats for 2026. Place your deposits now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity limited due to the in-bowl renovations, and the spots are going fast. Get your deposit in now. Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. You know, not being around here for about a month, come back downtown for the first time in a while, and it is, I mean, they are working on the stadium
it's
right
different. Or you see a different section of seats flying by every day. I know people on Twitter have been talking about it, seeing the photos. They're moving. they're doing that construction for sure.
They cut down one of the light standards today. Like, where is Jacksonville going to jump from?
Where we are in the Miller Electric Center, we can kind of see the side of the stadium, and there's like a giant hole you can see through it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're working on it.
They're adding all the they had the grand staircase opening last season. Remember that?
Yes.
Well, now that's starting to expand all the way around, and so the footprint is growing, and it's fun to see. The business office, I believe, is about to open on the river over there. I think they're going to have some unveiling things later in the month or early next month. But
we didn't get invited though. We don't have desks over there.
No,
we are not on that list.
No, we didn't make the list.
We didn't make the cut. It looks very nice though. I'm excited to see what it ends up looking like.
So there's progress there. The hotel's coming along, all that. So it's good to see down here.
Absolutely, seeing it in motion, and I know we want people to know that we're still one more season here.
Yes.
There will be lower the upper bowl will be gone, so lower attendance, which is why if you have your tickets, you want to get them locked in early because it'll be lower capacity.
Yeah,
so
probably a little less than 40, I think. Right?
Yeah, lower capacity for sure. So you want to get there and make sure you're here. And Jaguars football's fun again, so you want to be in the house for it for sure.
This will be an intimate environment.
Yes, a little small, cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll think of it that
Hell
way.
on earth for the opponents.
Well, it's going to be warm. We
How
know
about
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Of course, and then they have not announced yet in 2027 where. There were reports of Orlando, but there's still some final things to happen before the announcement officially comes in 2027. That's down the road just a little bit. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick, Kainani Stevens. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. One guy that is slated to be back in the mix is Travis Hunter. Cornerback, wide receiver, had the knee injury in practice on the practice field coming out of the bye week, non-contact play, and from all accounts, he's still on track to be back and could be back, I think, towards the end of the offseason program last I heard, but I don't think there'll be any rush to force him out there in any kind of situation where there would be a question mark, right? So probably get him back, work him back as much as they can, and then once training camp hits, in theory, he should be full go. And there was this report last week that I think it was NFL Network.
Yeah, Cameron Wolf at NFL Network, we love. And I think he was just kind of talking about in general. He covers the AFC South a lot, but the league as a whole. So I don't know if he was people were running with it a little bit as if it was new news, but I think head coach Liam Cohen had talked at the end of the season and kind of alluded to the fact that, kind of by necessity, the defensive side of the football, he's going to be needed there most of the time.
The report, air quotes, report was that he's going to play defense full-time and have some packages on offense.
Right.
Which is kind of what they said. James Gladstone literally said this in the press conference 2 days after the season. Here's the quote. Fair to say his rehab process is going as expected. He's hitting it hard, yada, 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 yada. We still expect him to play both sides of the ball. Obviously, you can take a peek at expiring contracts on our roster on which side of the ball has more. At this point, walking into the offseason, corner is a position. We have a few guys who are on expiring contracts. By default, you can expect there to be a higher emphasis on his placement. So there you go. It'll be a corner.
And, they added Jacoby Myers at the trade deadline this year and at what we've seen from Parker Washington. And there's not a gluttony of wide receivers, but there's talent there, right? And I think what is fair to say is Travis Hunter is naturally very gifted at cornerback. It doesn't seem like that takes a ton from him to learn that position game to game. And I think for him to go out there, and he never gets tired, it seems, so for him to go out there and just play fully on defense and then be involved game by game is, I think, what it'll end up looking like. Whether that he's needed more in certain games, I think we'll see more or less from him, depending who they're playing and what style of play of the defense they're going up against, is what the offensive availability is going to look like for him. And we know he can make special plays. And I know people are like, oh, this isn't what we expected. Fantasy owners are probably mad, which fair. But I don't think this is that drastically different from what we expected.
And let's be honest. There were some issues early in the season with him lining up right. He had all the illegal shifts, and this is not an easy offense to learn.
And you have to remember he's a rookie, or he'll be his second year, but you got to earn your time on the field. If you can't line up right, if you don't know where you're supposed to be, you're not going to be out there in a Liam Cohen offense.
And we saw, of course, in London, Jags were getting blown out at halftime. But then the second half, he has the breakout second half and over 100 yards and a touchdown for the first time in the league going into the bye week. And there was the feel going into that week after the bye that they were going to put a little more emphasis on offense because of that momentum they felt was building there until the knee injury. So, but you saw what happened in the playoff game. Like, they needed corners. Their top two corners were not on the field. Jordan Lewis was out, and Travis Hunter was not on the field either, and that was a problem. Yeah,
I mean, the deep ball, they got gouged with explosive plays. That's why they lost the football game. So he's very much needed at that role, and, feels bad about that Bengals game because I feel like that early on in the season in week 2, that play that should have ended the game and won it for the Jaguars would have been such a marquee moment for him, and people would have realized how dominant he can be as a cornerback. And I know we're not used to corners being as effective, just the way that stylistically, the way they play and favor the offense now. You can't be as physical, and you don't have, Darrelle Revis, those kinds of style of cornerbacks anymore. But he's so athletic, and he can really take people out of a game, which we don't always see. So maybe that's why there isn't as much appreciation for it. I know it's not as sexy of a position as wide receiver. It's not touchdowns, stuff like that. So obviously people want to see him more on offense, and he can make great plays on offense. And I don't think this is going to limit that. I think they're still going to, if they're cooking on offense, it's working. I do not think Liam Cohen's going to be like, I only said you could play 5 plays on offense today. Like, that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. So he very much rides the wave, but until he gets tired to the point where he can't be doing both positions, which we've not seen as of yet, anytime they've used him, he's been fine. They're going to use him as much as they can and in different ways every week, I think. With him in space with the ball in his hands, like when they flip it out fast wide and he's got 3, 4, 5 yards in front of him between the defender, that's when it's fun, because all of a sudden he's shaking guys off and cutting left and right, and he's squirming for 15. That was the Travis Hunter that you're like, wow, okay, this makes a lot of sense why they would draft a guy this high. It's also fun to see him go up and get it too sometimes. In that Chiefs game, the one where he goes up and over like 2 different defenders, like that's pretty cool too. He has those unique athletic gifts that not everybody has, which among other athletes is cool to see because he's even more athletic than your average athlete. So for him to be able to showcase that just a little tiny bit in 8 or 9 games is hopefully more to come. And I think just getting used to the NFL and getting used to Liam Cohen's offense a second year, he's still in the building every day, every week. Every time the players were here, it wasn't like he just never came in. So I imagine he's still working, going through the playbook, kind of understanding the offense, and it's only going to get better with time. Last year for him, 45 targets, 28 catches, just under 300 yards, the touchdown in his last game where he went 8 for 101 at Wembley in the losing result against the Rams. 15 tackles on defense, 3 passes defensed. And we'll see what happens as this offseason continues for Travis Hunter. The offseason continues next week with the NFL Scouting Combine. JP Shadrick will be there. Yes. Nobody else, though. Just JP. JP's our representative. We're back in a moment. It is a different feeling combine for the Jaguars next week in Indy. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
What's Here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's Here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's Here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's Here is Wolfson Children's Hospital with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the Sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast Forward Together. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/forward together.
Sudeth is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Sudeth crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and efficiency. It's no wonder why Sudeth is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
For the past 100 years, Sudeth has provided local, long-distance, and international moving services in Jax. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, Sudeth is helping you on moving day. Visit sudeth.com/Jags for a guaranteed quote.
Watch the game, host your crew, or just unwind at BC Grill and Patio at Sheridan Jacksonville, part of the Marriott family of hotels. Enjoy craft cocktails, tasty bites, and indoor-outdoor seating perfect for watch parties, happy hours, and events. Mention this radio ad for 10% off food and drinks. Visit SheridanJacksonville.com or call 904-564-4772.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Remember, Florida's water. Enjoy, conserve, protect, because it's worth saving. This message is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Kainani Stevens, Jeff Logman back with us next week. Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. The offseason is upon us. Playoffs are over. Super Bowl's in the rear view. And that means it is pre-draft season.
It is. It's a little less exciting this year, though, because
it's always exciting. Kai, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I'm thrilled.
How is it not exciting?
I am thrilled. We don't have a first-round draft pick, and the new front office doesn't go to the combine, so there's certain things that, you know, are normally like the little milestone steps of the offseason we're not necessarily going to hit in the same way this year.
Correct. All that is correct. Next week is the combine. No Liam Cohen, no James Gladstone. Usually the coach and GM for the teams go and have a press conference, and they do the radio row circuit at the combine and kind of set the tone for the offseason ahead. Not sure if they're going to have availability, you know, otherwise, which it's possible. But they're not going to be in Indianapolis, which means we're not officially covering it in Indianapolis this year. And it's just a different feel. We've been doing it pretty much every year since 2013. I think we've gone to cover it. And that's back in the old days, there were only a couple teams with staffs that went to cover it. And that's changed. It's now become this massive off-season media event. I think they had 1,000 credentialed media. Every person who has a website anywhere close to draft-related can get credentialed for this thing, and it turns into a lot of that kind of stuff, especially later in the week when the workouts and things start happening and some of the prospects start coming through the media center. So it's an interesting one because there's not really that presence this year in Indianapolis. And then right after that, not far away from free agency. But the combine stuff's the approach is unique. I mean, that's what LA did, right? The Rams started not going.
Where our head coach and GM came from.
That's right.
They're going to take some from that for sure.
Philosophy is, hey, we're going to watch actual football and see if the guy can play instead of worrying about the 3-cone drill.
In the underwear Olympics, yes.
Yeah.
So there's merit to it. I totally get it. But you can get all the numbers and stats. And also putting trust in your scouting staff, right? Because I think a lot of this is your scouts probably know some of these guys better than you do if you're higher up in the front office, and trusting your guys and their assessments. And I think they've talked a little bit about how they go about meeting with some of the prospects, and you can have visits, you can kind of go and meet with them at their schools when they have their own pro days. They go about it different ways to kind of get to where they need to be. But I think what is interesting about it is, as I noticed, is I feel like they put a lot of trust in their teams built around them and the reports that they're getting from those guys that know them best.
Makes sense. Let your workers work.
I mean, that's the
why
job.
you hired them.
You have to trust. You have to delegate. You can't do everything yourself. I mean, if there was another high pick, they went last year. I know they were all new then, so they're still trying to.
It was like the first. That was like second day of James
Gladstone. I think the GM
Gladstone.
had his press conference and flew there. Like that was
Right.
that was that week. So they were there then. Obviously, at higher picks, it's a little bit different because you're meeting with a certain set of guys. You can do interviews and kind of meet with them that way. So that's a little bit different. They don't have that top of a pick, so it's going to be a little more grassroots of an effort because they're looking at later round guys.
Yeah, and that's next week in Indianapolis. I'll be there. I'll have a report on Jags. Jags AM is the show name.
Yes,
Tuesday
that's
morning.
It's the show I have.
I almost said Jags HQ, which doesn't exist in the offseason. Jags AM. So I'll be up there Tuesday, and then we'll do the podcast Wednesday, Bucky and I from Indianapolis as
Very good.
Yeah.
So we will be represented, just not the usual crew.
Not the full crew.
Not the full crew.
No.
I mean, you guys are like the mayors of Indianapolis. So.
No, Bucky Brooks, on the other
Yes.
hand, yes. And John Osher, it's the house that Osher built.
Osher did build
not
that house.
Peyton.
I don't know if Osher's going, though. I think he might.
He's not going either.
He didn't make the cut either.
No.
All right. Well.
It's what it is. So looking forward to that next week. Speaking of, no changes in the coaching staff, I mean, there were close calls. Like Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanelli each had interviews this offseason. I think Udinski was really darn close to getting the Browns job.
Yeah, but
And
it's the
then
Browns' job.
It's
And I'm not.
It's 1 of 32.
I'm not talking it down. I'm just saying, if you're getting a head coaching job, you want to be put in a situation where you feel like you're going to be successful, I would imagine. And I don't know, as a offensive-minded guy going in there with what that quarterback situation looks like, that's overly exciting. He's going to have his pick the next however many years in a row, whether it's next year, if he takes one or whatever. He's not going to be without option. And I think as young as he is, this was his first year as a coordinator as well, hasn't had play calling duties yet. I don't think it was a poor idea for him to kind of, go interview, see what it was going to look like, but then eventually come back and have another year under his belt before he ends up somewhere else. And I think that was smart on his part. Anthony Campanile, I think, will be an amazing head coach whenever that time comes. He's a great leader of people. I think he can really read a room. Players want to play for him, so wherever he ends up as a head coach, I think he'll be very successful. And again, I think that was just about finding the right fit for him as well.
Yeah, I think he had 3 different interviews, Campanelli, at the end of the day, which is great for him and both those guys to have that experience of going through it one time. But it's great for the Jaguars that they're both back. And I'm sure Liam Cohen, during that time frame, I'm not sure how much time actually Liam got away, because you have to have a plan just in case one of these guys gets hired of how you're going to backfill these.
Yeah, and so... And I think what was cool about how Liam built his staff is it wasn't just like, hey, let me grab every guy I've worked with in Tampa, LA, and Kentucky and kind of bring them in that way. He really went out and found people that he had run into through his coaching career, but not necessarily worked with before, and he felt would take on their roles and utilize that in a way that, kind of take it under their own control, not guys that were just going to follow along with whatever he said, right? Because Anthony Campanile really runs that side of the football camp, and not that Liam's not involved, and I just mean he's really able to trust in camp and let him do that. And Udinski is very innovative in the way they work together. Liam Cohen and Udinski work together on offense and the relationship he has with Trevor Lawrence is what really came together the back half of that season, and having another year of that I think will only be helpful to Trevor Lawrence and the rest of the Jaguars. So I can see why he definitely wanted both of them back, and like I said, and especially we're seeing 10 openings this year.
Right.
There will be openings and there will be spots, and I think because Udinski specifically is so young, I think he knows that he will have an opportunity and wants it to be the right one.
Right, another year or 2 or whatever back here with the quarterback and the head coach in place and the system starting to grow.
It's not going to hurt you.
Not going to hurt him at all. I mean, come on, the phone's going to ring again.
Exactly. So I don't think it hurts them. It's not something like I got to go now or I'm never going to get another chance.
It would be interesting. I mean, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when Udinski and Cohen are designing plays, a new thing, maybe even this time of year. Let's figure out how to utilize player X against this defense, and I mean it's got to be fascinating how they work together.
It's got to be beyond insider football. I don't know if I could follow. I think it would just be you let me know when you're done, and then we'll draw it out, and then I'll try to follow along. But it's not easy. It's complicated when they have it all together. So when they're planning phase, I imagine it's just like, I don't know if you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie at one point turns into, like, has all these things on the wall and strings across and looks like a madman. And I feel like that's what maybe both of their offices look like when they're trying to draw stuff up.
Maybe so. And it's so precise, and it's down to every little movement pre-snap, and then you got to go rep it on the field, and you can't illegal shift, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the play. Can the players go execute what you've designed? Yeah,
you can draw it up, but if they can't remember it and follow along and make it happen, execute, then it doesn't really mean much.
So second half of the season, they darn sure did a lot.
Absolutely.
Which was awesome.
And that's when everything's in sync. It's pretty great to see. So I'm excited to, everybody's second year in this is going to be hopefully even better. It can only be, more comfortable with it at that point. Seeing how comfortable Trevor Lawrence was, that was so cool. Just kind of seeing that progression. We've seen Trevor make those throws. We know how talented he is and that ability. It's the consistency we haven't seen, right? And to see it so consistently the back half of the season, and just him being so comfortable and just going out there like, oh, I got it. Like, just, whether it's checking out of plays or just like knowing where he wants to go with the football and trusting himself and trusting his receivers. It felt like it unlocked a little bit, and you're hoping that we can continue that through another season.
There was that conversation before I think it was the Cardinals game. They sat down, had Liam Cohen with Trevor. Hey, man, like, we're here. You don't worry about throwing picks. And he throws 3 interceptions. So Liam couldn't freak out because he told him it's okay. And then that's when I think Trevor kind of trusted the whole process a little bit more and say, you know what, we can win if I throw a couple picks. Like, we can overcome this. We're going to play more football. And then it was after that the thing just took off.
And it's a reminder of, like, you think about football 10, 15 years ago, like, quarterbacks threw more interceptions because they were slinging it around a little bit more. I think there's higher scoring offenses, but I feel like they feel like an interception's the end of the world, and it doesn't need to be, especially when you can kind of shake it off, go back, or you have a defense you trust. It doesn't necessarily turn into points, and then you can move on. And Trevor got so much better at being able to shake stuff like that off and not let it affect him going further, because I think sometimes it would get in his head and it would continue. And if you can make a mistake and immediately move on, that's growth, obviously, and that's where I feel like he's found more success, at least as of recently.
It's hard for me to get past some of the red zone ones, though. Oh, boy.
Yeah, but then there was
it's hard for everybody.
I think that's everybody, right? Like, obviously you want to score in the red zone and you're like, get the points, but then they're very aggressive in the red zone in general. There's other times where you're like, why didn't you kick the field goal? So there's a lot of stuff in the red zone that is stylistically they play differently in the red zone, and sometimes you win that way, and sometimes you get a little frustrated.
Sometimes. Let's come back in a moment. This is Austin Lane's favorite segment when we come back on Mondays.
I'm scared.
The Microsoft Copilot segment.
Oh, he loves AI?
Apparently so.
All right, let's see.
I'm
excited to see what Microsoft AI has to say.
We're going to get some answers out of Microsoft Copilot.
We're going to ask.
When we come back on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. It is Jaguars Happy Hour.
It's Truck Month with the Ford Crew.
Care for a Truck Month trivia contest, Sam?
Oh, I can't resist, Hank.
Okay, fact. Truck Month happens only once a year.
Fact. It's the best time to buy a new Ford truck.
Fact. Ford F-Series is the best-selling lineup of trucks in America for 49 years.
Fact. America loves Ford Truck Month.
Fact. I agree with that fact.
Based on 1977 to 2025 CY Industry reported total sales.
Jacksonville's own Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jaguars, just scored big, winning 2025 National Builder of the Year. And right now, Dreamfinders is running its best game plan yet, offering winning interest rate incentives and move-in ready homes available today. With 20-plus communities right here in Jacksonville and over 40 across Florida, from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa, Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to be. Visit dreamfindershomes.com and move into your dream home today.
Before you kick off your next yard project, make sure you've got the right play call. I'm Josh Scobie, and I know a thing or two about game plan. Sunshine 811 is a free service that marks underground utility lines before you dig. Skip the call, and you could get hit with injuries, expensive repairs, fines, or even knockout service for your neighbors. Don't take that risk. Make the smart call. 811 before you dig. Learn more at peoplesgas.com/811.
To aim higher, to go faster, to push further. It's what elite athletes do, and UF Health is built from that same DNA. We don't just treat cancer, we advance breakthrough therapies. We don't just perform heart surgery, we invent procedures used worldwide. Like top athletes, we believe human progress has no finish line. UF Health, a national medical center for Team USA.
Honey, are we doing cold water therapy or something?
Cold water therapy? Like they do in Finland?
There's no hot water.
Oh, and you had the tap turned to hot?
Yes. Please call Duck Duck Rooter.
Water heater not heating? Just call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
At GEHA, they stand behind their members because they were founded by members. So with zero shareholders to mind, GEHA keeps their members in mind by offering a health plan for every stage of life, plus hearing and fitness discounts. At GEHA, one thing is clear. Your health isn't their business, it's their purpose. That's why GEHA has been trusted by millions of federal employees and retirees across the country since 1937. Visit GEHA.com to find your federal health plan.
Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. Final moments of our first program back after the hiatus following the postseason. JP Shadrick, Kainani Stevens. And time to get Microsoft Copilot to help us with some of the offseason schedule ahead. The question today for Copilot: when does NFL free agency begin? This is an easy one. Start easy back in the schedule for Copilot. And I didn't want to break the computer today. NFL free agency begins when the new league year officially opens, and for the upcoming cycle, that date is March 11th, 4 p.m. Eastern. That's when teams can finalize signings, trades become official, and expiring contracts roll over into the new year. Check out.
You can chitty chat before that, yes?
2 days before that, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
You can make some calls, texts.
Yes. Agents and front office, yes. Check out Microsoft Copilot for all your questions.
Absolutely. They know.
That's part of a busy little time ahead in the offseason. And the important dates are right here upon us now, of course, the Scouting Combine next week. That's changed over the last few years, too. A lot of the workouts are now in the evening. It's turned into more of a television event. And, so the schedule around that has expanded some. And then, as we talked about there, the franchise tag deadline is March 3rd. March 9th through 11th is the negotiation period, and then March 11th is the new league year and the start of free agency. The Jaguars veterans don't come in until late April. April 20th, the offseason workout program begins for teams with returning head coaches. So they won't be in for a while. There is the NFL annual meeting, owners' meetings. That's 3 days late March. And then the draft, April 23rd through 25th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this year. So that's what's coming up. Busy time of year. Really starting to take some steps forward now, finally.
Yeah, football never stops, and this is kind of the front office's time of year, right? When we're putting every ducks in a row and really getting the team put together that you want to have in the fall or at the end of the summer when training camp starts. And it'll look a little different for the Jaguars this year, of course, with their later draft picks. We'll talk about that in the coming weeks, what the draft's actually going to look like. But you have to feel good about where this team is right now, what they were able to do in the first year under their new regime. And then I do think there will be some significant changes. I don't know if it'll all be in free agency, but I think there may be some key veterans brought in. And I feel like there were some hits and misses with free agency last year, but some of the guys like Jordan Lewis, or you look at Robert Hainsey, some of the vets they brought in when free agency made all the difference. Eric Murray, because a lot of them were vets that want to work with younger players as well, which isn't always the case, right? You can get vets that just want to get their reps in, just want to, play as long as they can. But a lot of those guys really embrace the younger players around them, and it didn't feel like they were in spite of each other, like they're trying to make each other better. And I think, Eric Murray, Jordan Lewis were able to help a lot of the younger guys, whether it's Jarian Jones or Antonio Johnson. Both of them had significantly better years last season than they did the year before. And I think a lot of that can be tutelage of people at your own position and other players helping you out. And Hainsey was really calming, I think, in the center of that line when there were so many changes around him and what you can do for a quarterback, having a center that you really trust in. So I think there can be some really significant moves. I don't know if there'll be huge splashes in terms of money, but I think there can be some significant additions made through free agency. And I feel like some of the ones made last year, I mean, there were some that didn't hit. De'Ami Brown wasn't able to be as effective as they wanted, but that was a one-year deal. So when you look at some of the other guys that are going to be here and returning that were free agent additions, I think they played huge roles last year.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a little work to find some cap room and make some moves. And
well, that's what they do. They're math guys. I'm not the math girl, but they're math guys.
I went to the Harvard of the South, but it's tough for me to figure this out.
It might be a little hard for you too. Yeah,
it's tough.
They'll make it work. They always do. They find ways, and they add extension years and move the money out, and there's ways to work around.
I mean, the Chiefs just did it. They just renegotiated with Patrick Mahomes and opened like $40 million or something.
There's
crazy.
Loopholes. There's all kinds of stuff that can be done.
It's crazy.
You need to make something happen. They will.
I've got a bonus trivia question for you.
Uh-oh. I'm scared.
Who was the first NFL player to compete in the Winter Olympics?
Oh, what sport? Let's do that. Can you tell me what sport
No,
it
I
is?
can't tell you that.
Will it give it away?
Probably.
Sorry, repeat the question.
The first NFL player to compete in the Winter Olympics. There's been a ton that's competed in the Summer Olympics.
Sure.
Obviously.
Like track or whatever else.
Yeah, whatever. Jim Thorpe, like all those guys, right?
I have no idea. Is it a skier?
No, not a skier.
Bobsled?
Yes.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. 4-man or 2-man?
I don't remember.
A bobsled's crazy to me. Well, no, skeleton is crazier. Skeleton is like, I'm actually afraid they're going to die.
4-man. Actually selected for the 4-man and then competed in the 2-person competition.
Wow. Who is it? I'm excited.
1992.
Okay.
Herschel Walker.
No.
Big, powerful runner, right? And off the starting line, and they finished 7th.
Herschel Walker's life story is crazy.
Right?
Like, I don't even know anymore. Like, every chapter of that is insane. So that's crazy. I did not know that. Wow, that is a fun fact.
See,
we're big. We got the Olympics on every TV here in the Miller Electric Center. So we just watched the women's hockey team get gold, which was amazing, right before the show began. So obviously that was good luck heading into happy hour. But the Olympics are just, I love it. We had the Summer Olympics on a couple years ago in the building, and it's just that kind of athleticism is so unique. And seeing how hard they train and then at the highest peak to come out, it's pretty cool.
One of the Summer Olympics, we had Aaron Ross was on the team, and he's a cornerback, and his wife, Sonia Richards-Ross, was a sprinter.
It's awesome.
And so we watched live. I don't know where the Olympics were that year in 2012 or 2012 probably. I watched it live on the video boards in the stadium because it was like during the offseason or training camp or something. So they stopped practice, put it on the big board. I think she won gold or something. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Kind of fun.
Heck yeah. I just love it. It's, everybody can be patriotic, come together, and watch things you never watch. I never watched skeleton. I never watched bobsled. Just
curling. I don't,
the curling fights are amazing.
That's been intriguing.
The
espionage,
the
involved.
Rivalries.
We're going to videotape you cheating, and you're not going to know it. Got him.
Exactly. A whole scandal in itself. So I love all the controversy that goes along with it, and everybody's kind of an expert in their own field. So it's pretty fun. It's enjoyable, and I'm glad this is kind of during this time so we can really focus on it.
Ski jumping.
Heck yeah. You see the dog that was out on the cross country?
There was another, like a ram or something the other day. It was running uphill.
Wild.
It's like, yeah.
I'm all for it. I find it all very, very entertaining, and they are all skills of athleticism I could never dare to touch. So I'm very impressed by a lot of them.
Final few moments here of the program on Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Kainani Stevens, Jeff Loggeman will be with us next week. Right after we return from the Combine, we'll have another show for you next Thursday, 4 o'clock each and every week. I'm curious if they're going to do some off-season renegotiation extensions. There's a couple guys that are now eligible to be extended if you wanted to go that direction. Parker Washington's one of those.
I think both those Penn Staters might be people I would like. Brenton Strange.
The tight end.
Those are both guys that I would be interested in keeping.
Trayvon Walker.
I mean, obviously, that's going to be a big number, so that may be something. I don't know where they stand on that, what that number is going to look like. I know he wants to stay here, obviously. Trayvon's very much adapted to the area, loves it here. So
I'd love an area, though, too, that would pay me about $25 or $30 a year.
I think he'll get that wherever
learn to love it.
I think he'll get that wherever he lives. So
right.
I don't think that'll be problematic for him. But, yeah, my focus, if I was going to, I think Parker Washington, one of the Nittany Lions, if not both, would be where my focus would be.
Brenton Strange was so valuable.
When he was out, you noticed it a lot.
100%.
Because you're like, the run game's amazing, and then he wasn't in anymore, and you're like, they're not as amazing.
God, that guy. Yeah, he's
really the best blocker on your team.
He's really grown into it. Man.
And also, like, specifically Trayvon Walker and Brenton Strange, when you talk about being a tough football team, those are, in my opinion, those are the two toughest guys on your football team.
Like Parker Washington's getting hit and like flying 5 yards in the air, head over heels, and coming down and popping right back up.
Made of rubber, yes.
Big legs, like he's just. I mean, it's unbelievable.
He is someone, and I think what you saw last year. Maybe he was the fourth guy on the list, and works his way up. At the end of the year, he's like your wide receiver 1, pretty much. So, I mean, his skill set was undeniable. What he did through training camp, through the season, was so impressive to me. I think you have to try to keep him if you can.
Yeah, you don't want him leaving the building.
No, and get ahead of it.
So, and especially the tight end. No, nobody else is going to sign that guy. Can't do it. Now, everybody else would sign that guy.
Yes,
but
don't allow it. Don't let it get to that point. Yeah.
No, don't get there. And you still got time for these. It's not like
sure, but it's also like when you lock things in a little bit earlier, the money can be a little bit better, and you already know how you feel about the situation. I don't think Brenton Strange is going to be not tough next year, so I think he will only continue to get better.
That's one of the lasting legacies of the previous administration. They got the quarterback done early.
They did.
And it's
working
out.
Now it looks good.
Right? There were question marks around that with some of the play, especially early in the season, but I think they've turned the corner.
And plus, the quarterback number is never going down. So it's not like, oh, no, we paid too much, or like the housing market, and then it changed. No, quarterback number is only going to continue to go up.
Yeah, but if he's not that good, then that's a big problem if you're signing into that number.
Sure, but I think they felt the way they felt about Trevor at that time. That was the past regime, but I think they were locked in with Trevor with the skill set they felt he had, and now it looks good.
Earlier the better. We'll see what they do with that in the next few weeks, or it might not even be the next few weeks. It could be they could do that all the way into training camp, into the season if they want.
Yeah, that doesn't have to be done this year. That's just something we're looking ahead, saying, hey, maybe you want to do that, but they don't have to do that right now.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Combine next week. No Jaguars presence there. No head coach. No GM. There will be some scouts there, but none of the leadership is planning on going next week. And here we are. What do you got coming up?
What do we got? Well, Jags AM's back every Tuesday now, so we've got that going on. And then I think we're just kind of excited to see a little bit of how this offseason program works with the coach. When we talk about, they're not going to those, it's not because they're not here. They're here, they're working. Things are going on. Yeah. So kind of we have really great access for the hunt, and kind of working with them behind the scenes to see what that's going to look like has been interesting. And I think it's good that it's calm right now. We're used to, obviously, the chaos and the new, we're hiring someone and this and that. This is a good place to be.
I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
I'm panicking, but it's good. I think this is needed.
This is what it's supposed to be like.
This is what it's supposed to be like at this time of year.
Wow.
I've been told. But, yeah, this is a good thing.
Who knew? It's unbelievable.
No, we're just, like I was saying, we're just used to chaos, so. It's a little bit different for us.
Chaos. So now, no chaos. It's a very calm off season, and that's the way it's going to be, it feels like, for the next little while here. And we'll see what happens once, free agency hits. If they find cap space and sign some guys, which they'll probably do, and then they'll go into the draft. And what they're going to do with the 13 draft picks, none of them first-rounders, is always fascinating to see.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks from now with free agency, that'll give us a little bit more of a sneak peek of what they're going to end up doing with the draft, because whatever they dress in free agency, that'll give us a little bit better of a window of where the focus is going to be. And like I said, they may not be names you are uber familiar with, and it might not be huge money splashes, but there's going to be contributors added through free agency, I'm positive, that are going to be names that play a huge role come football season.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It is.
Kai, great stuff. Enjoyed it.
We're back, guys.
We're back.
We're back.
We are so back.
We are
back. We are not going anywhere for a while.
We are. Just a little bit. I know it feels like football. It's sad, though, because, like, you're so used to football, like, every single week. And then after Super Bowl, it's just like, oh, you don't get to watch it for a little while. So
yeah, right?
That part is a little sad.
It is a little sad.
But we'll have March Madness soon. And I feel like that. We have Olympics now. We'll have March Madness. I can talk us through. It's okay.
Then we got World Cup this summer, too.
World Cup. It'll be nice weather again. Like, it's already nice weather now, but you know what I mean. Summertime. Kids are out of school. There's all kinds of stuff to look forward to, guys. Don't panic.
No, yeah. Remain calm.
Everyone
All's
be calm.
well. That's Kainani Stevens. I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, and thanks to you for watching and listening. We are back each and every Thursday with this program, 4 o'clock on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. Jags AM, Tuesday mornings, 10 o'clock. We'll have the Huddle Up podcast each and every Wednesday on the official Jaguars podcast network and Jaguars.com. That comes out each Wednesday with Bucky Brooks. For our entire crew, I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks for watching and listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.